Looks like colony relations have changed.
Yeah, you think? You think colony relations have changed? Oh, okay. That's probably...
Looks like colony relations have changed.
Shut up! We're good. Welcome back, everything. Did we get to have a hero again? Can I have a hero again? I can't put her back on. Throw him on for now.
Concentrate! Got you covered!
There's still... that was exciting. I'm happy I didn't wait to jump back in to get this part of it. I feel satisfied that I'm not sure when I'll next record at the very least. So... I guess... Fuck, man. And the thing...
Keep nice and limber.
The thing is that I'm sitting here just like... Man, that was great. That was cool. And I feel like... I still don't understand the why. In so many ways. The idea of just taking your existence and freeze... Like, why is there another Noah? Why is there another Mio? What if do all the Mobius have a version out there in the system still? It's just a coincidence we haven't met any others outside these two? I don't know. I don't know. It's how did Mobius work? Hey, Mr. Mobius, you know how Mobius work? Oh, hey. Oh. I lost...
You want me to lead?
I lost Mio! Wait, why did I lose Mio? Why did they give me control again and lose Mio? Oh boy, okay. 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 Then... So we saw that he was given a choice to become Mobius, and then from that, as the guy said, it sounded like the idea is that his time is frozen still, which makes sense for why younger version of that why that childhood friend still looks like childhood friend, right? Your time gets frozen still in some capacity, and you restore it. I'm just gonna speculate out loud here, and you restore it via gorging on the life essence of others. Others specifically from within the system, maybe? Maybe, because we've seen the mods come off everything else, right? It does sort of seem like it's probably not exclusively in the system, because we have this guy over here who doesn't feel like he's fighting other colonies, but rather he's spending all his time fighting beasties and whatnot, right? Maybe not exclusively from them. So... I guess I don't know for sure how absorbing life energy equals freezing your time and keeping that up. What, like, do they have their own internal flame clock then? How does that work?
Every day's a training day.
Then you consider the fact... Then you consider the idea of Noah and Mio still being in the system somehow. If them being removed... Either is it them being removed, or is it them... maybe the Mobius are the copy? Like, my original thought was the Mobius were the original, but clearly, the Noah from that was not the original Noah, and he had gone through several cycles prior to that, right? It wasn't like, oh, this is the original person before, maybe, here's a thought, like, a legitimate thought I had before, when they were, like, at the end of the last chapter, was, oh, maybe it's everyone in the system is just like a copy, a reflection of a real person that's out there, and the Mobius are the quote-unquote real ones in some capacity. But I'm not sure, basically. How does taking life energy equal freezing one's own time? That's the question. Better question, how does it grow your hair out that much? What? Maybe that's the key I need to think about. How does taking life energy grow your hair? Because here's the thing about it. Them having long hair does not actually equal what it seems to imply. The idea of them having long hair feels to seem to imply that they've lived a much longer time, right? Oh, we've had time, the hair's grown out, just, over time, we haven't bothered to cut it, that sort of thing. But if their time is frozen, their hair wouldn't be growing longer, right? So that means that literally the Mobius thing is what made their hair grow out, right? Right? Like, we physically saw it, too. I don't know, man. I feel like there's too much info to just sit down and try to collect everything and form a theory around that at this point. It feels like later game Xenoblade 1, where it's like I was throwing out random speculations and stuff like that, but at the same time, there's just so many things to consider that as soon as I seriously consider something, it's like, well, I'm probably not thinking of like half the evidence as I'm considering this, right? It does feel like later game.
It's nighttime already.
Like they've dangled so many pieces of evidence, but at the same time, it's like not that many, right? not that many actionable stuff unless you really sit down and try
Every day's
to
a training day.
and you look at the specifics of wording and stuff like that. It's interesting. I still love it, right? But it's a similar feeling as I've had in the other games where it's like when you get far enough, there's just too much information and you can't just idly sit down and throw it all out and try to feel like you've covered all the grounds and you can feel confident in it, right? Not that I've had... The thing is I haven't even been given that long of a leash to speculate in this. It feels like we've had tons of revelations, but they've all been very character driven, right? Not that that's a bad thing, but it's every revelation we get feels like most of it feels either character driven or it's oh yeah, this is going on, but not the why of why this is going on, right? Not that that's too unusual either. If I'm thinking back to Xenoblade 1 and 2, 1 sort of answered everything in the last minute, in the last story arc of it of, oh, you know what? We just have a god and we have this thing that can, manipulate everything, and that's why it is as it is. And before that, it was a lot more of a dealing with the politics of the region and the character development. Well, a little bit of character development because Xenoblade 1 didn't have a ton of character development. But Xenoblade 2, I think, has a similar thing where I don't think they explained a bunch until the last little bit where they sort of dumped everything from what's-his-face when they got up top for the architect and all that sort of fun stuff. So I guess it's sort of probably going to be the same, right? We're going to have at some point someone's going to walk up and say, this is how it works, this is why it works how it does. Not explain everything, but explain the core idea of why it works as it does, and then you can sort of fill in the blanks from there. So that's what I'm going to expect. Something in... I believe when I looked it up, there are 7 chapters in this. Something in Chapter 7 that does something similar. So you know what? I'll think about it a little bit for next time I start up, but for now, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone. Hello, and welcome back, and yeah, I'm recording now. Woo! I have been thinking about it a little bit. I'm not sure I have a super solid theory or anything like that, but there is some things I want to discuss that I've just been thinking about. The main things I want to think about are starting with the general idea, which I think is very notable to me, and it's sort of my starting place for any theory I have on this, on the idea that this is like a what was the phrase for it? The Schrodinger's cat, sort of two parallel realities actively happening at the same time, and this them coming together, annihilation events and stuff like that are the collapsing of causality into one reality, that sort of thing. And I would guess that this world, in some capacity, is some attempt to hold on to the two worlds before, on the edge of them, like, of the causality collapsing and a whole new existence being created. Potentially, or not potentially, who knows, wiping out everything
Right.
that,
What have we got around here?
everything that existed before, but nobody knows, so that's why you'd hold on so dearly, right? That's sort of my general theory and the thing that I've been thinking for quite some time in terms of, like, what's going on, why things are as they are. It's notable that in the last set of stuff, what's-his-face, the big boss man for the Mobius, seems to have basically declared himself the creator of it. So I'm inclined to assume that there's some element of Monado or that style of technology, whatever they called it in the second game where there's like 3 cores. Something like that that's shaped the world into this form. So I think that's very interesting. I think that's probably, with those two together, it makes me feel as though, yeah, it's an intentional attempt to hold on to everything that came before. Whatever this, like causality collapsing is, that sort of thing. That would be my guess as to basically what's happening. And I think I brought it up when I was, like, first going into, like, the Kevis Castle, before I entered that, for the causality thing. And I still think that's probably the case, right? The other, like, big thing that sort of jumped to my mind that I felt like I wanted to discuss in that context is the idea of the Annihilation events and how the Black Mist appears before rather than after.
Every day's a training day.
So if we take the idea that Back in Future Connected, all the stuff that was happening there was connected to this Black Mist in some capacity, that the Black Mist is some harbinger of the causality collapsing, whether before... What would that make the Black Mist then? That's sort of the question, right? What does that actually make the Black Mist as a concept? The one thing that comes to mind is causality collapsing is sort of this idea of there are two versions of the world, right? And the reason you'd have causality collapse into one is because they're sharing basically equivalent matter with each other. There's a one-to-one on each side. Hence why we have these Ouroboros concepts where you have one person on one side, one person on the other side. And the idea that you have them fighting against each other also matches up with that if you never want them to... If you want them to be actively, like, trying to stay away from each other, right? Sure, you could, It's the question of, is it safer if you want to set up a world to keep them away from each other to just place them really far away? Or put them in direct conflict so they actively try to stay away from each other, right? Man, these two are training a lot. So... The Black Mist... The Black Mist starts to feel like, especially since we've approached the idea with, it, like, forms around it, it comes around it, that sort of stuff. My best guess as to what that is, like, obviously, this is, like, an actual world where matter is, like, going out and about, etc., etc., etc. What if the Black Mist is, like, the rest of the matter that's not accounted for to have its parallel being accounted for, that sort of thing? You could have something like that, right? Basically take the idea that if this is an actual world with matter flying out and about, people eating stuff, etc., etc., people almost definitely taking craps, stuff like that. So matter is moving about and whatnot. So the Black Mist could be just the remnants of things that aren't, like, accounted for in that. being pulled in, and the reason you overheat is because while you can combine, you're not completely combined. There's a bunch of not overlap there, and the black mist maybe is like being pulled in like a magnet, the other matter. And then once everything actually comes together in the same area, then snap. Causality comes together, or something like that. So that's my best guess as to what's going on with the black mist. And that would also, I think that's somewhat consistent conceptually with the idea of what was happening in Future Connected, because everything was like shrouded in the black mist and whatnot. So the idea there would be more like, oh, there's stuff from this other parallel version of the world showing up, and the black mist is shrouding them because it's basically the idea of, oh, causality is trying to collapse because they've entered this other world, so the black mist is starting to form around them, that sort of thing. And they're sort of just constantly in that state as it slowly pulls stuff in. Yeah? Something like that. Then you also have, oh, I just thought of it. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? You also have the idea of... Oh, I literally just thought of it, too. And then I got on the other thing with the Future Connected. Oh, yeah, and then you have the other, like, situation of there being other versions of Noah and Mio, right? Like, how is that, like, even conceptually possible, right?
Let me just
oh, yeah, there's two things.
fix this.
So there's, how is that even conceptually possible? I'm not sure. Like, they both have that sword, too, right? So it's like... That's something that I'm probably the most confused about. How there can be other versions of them. Because it doesn't really match up with a lot of my speculation. And nothing at the moment is currently coming to mind as a potential reason why. The other thing I wanted to mention was... back when they were, like, first... Ethel and them were first seeing them as, like, black shrouds. It's like... well, maybe that's indicative. Maybe it was. Maybe it's like a perception thing that they have on them at all times, where they see each other as people and humans and whatnot. But really, maybe that was just cut. Yeah, you know what? That actually sort of adds up too, because we also had the thing where Mobius wasn't able to see clearly through the thick black mist. Which implies that these guys aren't seeing the black mist nearly as constantly, right? Which could imply that maybe their perception's being messed with, not in terms of, like their perceptions being messed with to make people look like they're made of black mist, but maybe that's removing some of the perception messing that they have going on just actively, resulting in people looking like people rather than their base, like, black mist sort of element or something like that, right? Which would imply that it's basically either, right? So that's a thought. Then you have the topic of the Sword of Origin stuff, which I still think that, like, the main idea that comes to mind as to why it's so, like, powerful, the fucking Lucky 7 is so powerful and able to do what it does, is because of the idea that it's already it is an element of causality that's already just collapsed, and it is just something that already exists. So it's like a complete thing, which makes it a lot more powerful and able to just disrupt stuff so much more easily in this world. That's my best guess as to what's happening there. Okay, well, that's my rant. I didn't write any of this down. I might have had other thoughts that I'm forgetting, but that's some of my current speculation as to what precisely is going on in terms of the underlying reasons why, more specifically. But yeah, we're in the castle without Mio, so I'm going to go ahead and say that we probably want to go to the next thing to activate a cutscene to presumably get her back.
Huh? I can't help but wonder, would I have been able to save you? I wanted time to stand still. More than anything. I felt completely powerless. I wished time would stop. If the moment could have lasted forever, I wished for the unthinkable. Just like N. I proved to be just like him.
For my part, this is all I need.
When did you two?
It was when we first fought against them. Ever since then, Em and I were swapped around.
I see. I honestly thought you were M back there. You had me fooled. Maybe that's a bad way to put it. In any case, I didn't realize at all.
I did try my best. I couldn't afford to fail. If anyone suspected me, you'd have all been executed on the spot. But her feelings, I couldn't simply let them go to waste.
M's feelings?
She wanted to give you everything that she knew about N. To help us escape. To break this never-ending Mobius curse. To lose and still stand back up. Even in the depths of despair. She wanted you to have the strength to defeat those at the root of that despair.
She sure had a lot of faith in me. Oh.
She believed that if anyone in the world could make it possible, it would be you.
And if not, then yeah.
That's why she merged our wills so we could act to further our goal.
Earlier, you said it was fun. But it wasn't you. It was M.
I really think she meant it. It was brief, but being who I am now, passing my thoughts along onto you, and receiving yours in turn. She was grateful.
I see.
From that moment, Em's words were my words, and my words were now hers. Her life was scattered on the breeze, but her memories and her will live on inside my heart. Come, I have something to show you.
Interesting. Where are you going? Are you gonna rejoin? Just over there at Hope's Rest. I'll be back soon. The other me has something she wanted Noah to see. He's gonna see that. Yeah, I'm coming too. What? Come on, let's go. Oh, okay. Hope's Rest is a summer stroll from here. Just get off the transport Leibniz onto out the west gate. Then keep going till you see the hill with the sea view. Easy peasy. Wait, but this is a floating castle. Why is there a... Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Alright, Ouroboros, show me what you
Oh.
got.
Oh, cool. That makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying... It does actually make sense. Can accelerate art recharge speed. The talent art consumes charge from all the arts. Deal big damage. Consumes the charge from all... So you want to do it when you... Interesting. Mio's special talent art. Mio's talent art. The minion flower is unique. That it can be used regardless of class restrictions. Use it to command immense power that deals huge defense piercing damage. So is hers another one that you should probably put her on DPS long term? If you want to take advantage of the unique special abilities that they give her. Speaking of which, I'm not sure I actually I like long hair normally, but I'm not sure it works on her. Her design feels like it was not made for the long hair. Oh, you can't change that. Oh, meanie pie junior. Meh. Oh, cool. We gotta take a ship to it. Sure. Why not? The Mullis Depot. Just like in... Yeah, okay. This makes sense why it's a floating castle.
Yep, here we are.
Yeah. Should I recognize?
Here.
Em was still unsure to the very last whether to show you the memory of this place. But I think it would be best. This place, it was everything to En.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, this is where the city once stood.
It did?
It was long ago. The city back then. It was much more prosperous than now. It positively teemed with people.
So then, it must have drawn Mobius's ire even more than now.
The original city, maybe? Or is it the same city, just that it's moved? Because, I mean, I can imagine the city showing up, them crushing it, then it showing up again, and then being like, well, let's just make sure it doesn't get too big.
There it lies before you, your heart's desire. There is no life within. You must breathe it into her yourself.
Life from the people of the city. You want me to end every one of them?
Why the hesitation? Existing in this place is by itself a result of your own choices. You are the one who chose the endless now, are you not? Your response should already be predetermined. Such a shame.
Ooh.
Wait, please!
To have given up so much for just one single part of your life and existence. Not saying she isn't important, but it's definitely motivation to make that thing worth it, right?
The city's inhabitants were the descendants of Em, En, and others who became Ouroboros in the past. In exchange for the lease on life they would get as Mobius, Zed ordered En to kill the city's people.
Oh no. Tell me why!
I didn't want to lose any more.
What do you mean anymore? Everything we held dear is gone. You took them all away. And you dare talk about your feelings of loss.
Now you will continue to exist as Mobius. The same as myself.
So you did it.
sealed our fate. Now we can live forever. But this future's been stamped out before its time. And I can't even disappear.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to reconcile with, isn't it? Everyone might be a little... Yeah.
Only two things were important to him. Impossible.
No, I don't think that's true.
How could one ever choose between them? Surely he couldn't do it.
And yet,
I mean, I said it before, he seemed like someone
he did make a choice.
who was trying to force others to validate his previous life choices.
No one can truly judge him for the things he did.
Repentance. The intentions they left behind. They turned into us.
Of course, it's heartbreaking, but
still, she was smiling.
we have to change things.
Yeah. And this time, we'll succeed.
Am I supposed to take what he said literally there?
So it's set. Our new goal. Agreed?
Yes. He can't get away with this.
I'm not feeling very forgiving either.
But guys, now we know there's an even bigger bad behind that snuffer. Zed.
Making someone choose the impossible, it's so cruel.
Well, if my theory is right, he might be
Thanks, everyone.
trying to force the choice of the impossible because he's already made that choice, maybe?
Looks like your minds are made up. Here, this is yours.
What was that again? I don't remember.
By the by, who is that Zed sleazebag?
He's something like the head of all Mobius, or so it seemed. I've only met him in the memories that M showed me, though. We now know his power is vast, far greater than any of the others in Mobius.
Damn, so he's...
Yes, he is our true adversary. The one who formed the world we know.
Just who decided that this was how it should be? If I knew who they were or where I'd...
Obviously, he's Zanza, right? Maybe. I don't think he looks... He doesn't visually remind me of him, so I have no idea. I could see them picking Z to make it like a trilogy of Z villains, though.